most importantly, I think we got a lot stronger as a team. This time last year, we sat here and we had basically 11 guys that can do 225 over 20 times. This year we have 31, so significant gains there. We had 0 that can do 225 over 30 times a year ago. This time, a year later, we have 6. So, we've made significant progress there. I think a lot of it has to be attributed to the sacrifices of the team, the extra work that they've given, Coach Swayze and his staff, and then certainly what our administration is doing in terms of our meal plan and in terms of making sure the kids are eating appropriately. So, excited about that. Fairly healthy. Buchanan, Fentress, King, and Stephen Morris will not participate this spring. Those are the 4 right now for everybody that we are certain will not be with us. I shouldn't say that. King has a chance, guys. King has a chance. The other 3 for sure. Buchanan, Fentress, and Morris will be held. King has a chance. We'll see once they get back from the break. And then I'll go through it individually, any questions that you guys have. So with that, let's just not make this a long-winded affair here. What questions can I help you guys with?
Start giving us an update on Stephen Morris's situation.
Yeah, just he had a back surgery, and again, from what I understand, there's no such thing as a minor back surgery. But I think we're about 1 week out, and he's moving around well. He'll be an active participant with us on the field. He'll call plays in the huddle and make sure he's audible and enunciating and coaching for us. He just won't be able to throw for a while. And again, we're going to be cautious with him. We don't want to go too fast with him. And again, everything that I heard is that the surgery was successful.
How did he hurt himself?
Again, I don't know. We think it might be something that he's had for quite some time, and it got aggravated at some point in December, and they tried to rehab it and opted to go the surgical route. And I think when they went in, they again, I'm not a doctor, but when they went in, they were excited, obviously about the way everything, went. So he should have a full recovery.
And so does this mean that the quarterback situation is not really going to be decided then until the fall? Because
I think it would have been decided by, in the fall either way. But it does, add a little element of kind of a playing game here. Somebody's going to be competing with Stephen in the summer, and so it really gives us a little playing game in terms of the other 3, and then certainly when David Thompson joins us in June.
Everybody else is going to be limited in any way?
Yeah, there'll be guys that are limited. Again, those guys for different reasons, like Alan Hearns will be limited in some capacity. Corey White early on. If they're not out for the spring, that means they'll be able to do something for us and try to develop their skills in certain areas, and maybe we'll protect them in other areas.
Al, at defensive end, if you wouldn't mind talking about some of the options you have opposite Anthony. It's a young group.
Yeah, Shayan's done a good job. Shayan won the off-season program for the defensive lineman. Did a really good job. He's stronger than he's ever has been. He's 28 reps at 225 right now. Very strong, explosive kid. And then obviously Ricardo Williams has developed nicely for us, so we're anxious about him. Hoylett is in at mid-year, so he'll have a shot for us there. And then we're bringing in several guys as well. So McCord and Jake O'Donnell and a couple other guys. So it should be good then.
Coach, last spring for you was kind of an introduction with these guys. How is this spring going to be different? What are your goals that you're going to try to get accomplished?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing is we're trying to refine what we've taught. I don't think we're going to be different. There's a few wrinkles on both sides that based on our personnel and the direction that we want to go. But again, this spring, obviously we're trying to get to develop our team fundamentally. We want to be a stronger team, certainly. I know we're not going to be in great condition on the onset of it, but I think we're starting off at such a different point than we were even last year. So again, we're just going to focus on the fundamentals, not trying to get too cute here in the spring, see if we can't get some of these young guys developed and take it real slow. Other than this weekend, we're really not going back-to-back. We're going to go back-to-back Saturday and Sunday because it's really just a focus on the passing game.
And Coach, the opening depth chart, I guess what is that based on? Is that just purely Utah or a few other factors?
Yeah, again, it's the off-season program in general. They're rated, they're rated both in the weight room and how they perform on the field. So that's pretty much how they finish there is how they start. And again, we're looking for guys that want to compete in every phase every day and that want to win all 4 phases. And guys that don't do that, leave themselves vulnerable. To be honest with you, we had some guys a year ago that opted to do the same. Have the same approach that, hey, I'll take care of it in spring ball, I'll take care of it in training camp. And the reality is some of them never, regained a starting job. So it's something that we think is really, valuable to us and critical for us to move our program forward. And, again, I'm really proud. The majority of the team really responded to the challenge that we had this offseason.
There are a couple of veteran guys at Telemark and Brendan McGee started all 12 games last year and they're down the depth chart. Is that a message to them?
No, there's no message. There's no message. Again, we all coached a 6-6 team. We all played for a 6-6 team. That's not good enough for anybody. I mean, that's the reality of it. And we're not making any excuses. So all of our performance has to change. But clearly, clearly Ray Armstrong got the message. Ray, you can argue, had the best offseason of anybody. Made a lot of sacrifices on his time. Gave up his winter vacation and made a lot of progress. And, there's not many guys on the team that got a black shirt, got the best rating that you could possibly have in each of the 8 U-Tough segments, and he did. So he's leading by example right now. And I think Swayze was the same thing. Those 2 guys were 1 and 2. Again, Vaughn didn't have a bad off-season program. Those 2 had a better one. I think Vaughn finished 3rd. So, and then clearly at the other spot that you mentioned, Finney and Payne both finished ahead of McGee. So, again, phase 1 is done. Now, if you have an opportunity to start higher than maybe somebody that played last year, now it's incumbent upon you in phase 2, which is spring ball, to hold that position or win that position again. And obviously, if you got beat out in the off-season program, you're trying to regain a spot in spring football.
You talk about the cornerback position. Obviously some new guys are going to be working in there.
Yep. Oh, did you just ask me to talk about it in general?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think clearly Hope and Gunter have done a nice job for us to start off, and they both need to get in better shape and learn the system and everything, but they look like they have the requisite skills, and clearly that's a position where once the senior prom's done, we're going to get a lot of those guys that are in high school right now to come join us and compete for jobs. So again, we need more production. I'm not telling you guys anything you didn't know. We didn't get enough interceptions from the cornerback position. We weren't physical enough. We couldn't play enough man for anybody's liking. Too much free access for the receivers that we played, and that's got to change. And it's either going to change with personnel or it's going to change with scheme, and we hope it's a combination of both.
How do you see the reps working out between Ryan Williams and the 2 freshmen? And do you feel like Stephen being out can help Ryan in terms of all the extra work?
Yeah, this is how they actually finished. So this is actually how they finished in the off-season program, without Stephen. So Ryan deserves to be with the first unit on the first day, but we're not going to get a great look at them because of our deficiencies at wideout if we don't rotate all of them with the first unit. So all of them will get reps with the first unit.
Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from Ryan Williams? We've never seen him obviously
Yeah.
play. What you like about him? What you
George, I think the biggest thing with Ryan right now is he's gotten his body composition, his body fat down. He's kept his weight down, and then he looks quicker. His feet, again, when they're long like that, they have a chance to have slow feet. And they can get in the habit of being kind of a long strider, and to be a quarterback, you got to get off the line of scrimmage quick. You got to get your feet underneath you, and obviously you got to be able to move laterally and keep your eyes downfield and throw. And I think he's made a lot of progress in those areas. To be honest with you, the off-season program is not easy to get up and down and move around the way they move around if you're a long person as he is, and he did a really nice job with it. So we've appreciated his approach. He's very bright, but I think all those guys are bright. I'm as anxious as anybody to get those guys out there and see how good we can get them.
How are Preston and Gray doing with the adjustment of college and just getting the off-season stuff? How are they handling it?
Yeah, again, it's hard, So again, I don't make excuses for the new guys, but if you're a freshman, say you're Dorsett, who's had a really good off-season, he's gone through basically July, he's gone through August, he's gone through a season of lifting. He went through, the postseason lifting, and then he's exposed to the off-season program, which is the most difficult, as it should be. We're not really fighting for their time. We're not splitting their time. But the reality is those kids who just walk in at mid-year, the first thing they get blasted with is that off-season program. So it's difficult. And a lot of those guys have adjusted really well. I think, Preston and Gray are talented. I think they're bright. Again, I think they're doing a good job. All those kids are doing a good job. Eric Flowers has had a real good offseason. He's really blown us away because kids at that size don't usually have that kind of conditioning base. Eric Flowers has done a really good job in that, as has Hope and some of the other guys. So I think the guys are doing, in general, the 10 guys that came in are doing a nice job.
Coach, I know you're focused on spring football right now, but is there anything new regarding the investigation at all?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Move Feliciano inside
Yeah.
to the other side as well. If you just talk about that.
Well, again, we don't like to play musical chairs with the offensive line, and the surgeries, from Bunch and Chantrell a year ago, and then certainly the lack of production that we got from Jermaine, last year we moved a lot of guys around. Jermaine's had a good offseason. Bunch has had a really good offseason. I think Bunch finished third in the offensive line behind McDermott and Linder, and he's over 30 reps. He's 31 reps, again, here's a guy with a couple more years of football left, and he's doing more reps than a lot of guys moving on. So excited about that group. I think Feliciano's best spot is inside, George, so we'll see how that goes. Jeremy Lewis has had a good offseason. Of course, Linder's on the other side. Ben Jones is over there. Jermaine can play guard, so we'll see how it all shakes out. But we're hoping we get a nice battle out of Jermaine and Chantrell, and we expect the same on the other side between Malcolm and Eric.
Coach, do you have anything additional to say about Jermaine, who wasn't really on the radar last year? What has he done to sort of get to where he's
Yeah, I think he's made. I do. I think he's made progress. I think he's just stopped worrying about the big picture and is just focusing on today and just trying to get better today. And I think he's having success doing that. So, I'm knocking on wood, as we all are, that he's going to continue to do that. And I'm really, he's a talented kid. So we missed him. We missed him last year. And as I said, those three issues at that tackle spot caused a lot of musical chairs that we didn't really want to have to go through. And hopefully, those guys can solidify and stay at tackle the whole year. It'd be great if we can keep Felice inside, and it'd be great if we can play more guys, keep them, like I said, have some symmetry with our depth. Have a vertical depth and not a lateral depth, and be able to move guys in and out of the game at certain spots.
Not only did you lose a lot of talent on the field, but you lost a lot of leadership, the guys that left. Who do you see stepping up, or who has stepped up in the offseason program?
Yeah, again, Phil, you don't have to be a senior to be a leader, and I think Rayshon Scott and Philip Dorsett have done a good job with that. You can make a case, other than Ray Armstrong, that the guy who's had the best offseason has been Asante Cleveland. Asante's done a great job for us. He's almost 270 and running really well, and we needed that. We missed that last year at tight end. We missed a big physical guy that can do it all. We're hopeful that Asante will do that. He's done a good job. I thought Linder, McDermott, and Bunch have done a good job. Jimmy Gaines has done a good job leading for us. Chick has done a good job. I already mentioned Ray and Andrew Swayze. And again, I don't want to diminish Buck's impact on our team, but Buchanan still is a very quiet, unassuming leader, but a leader nonetheless, even though he's out right now.
Where do you see the strength of this team?
The team?
Well,
I'm giving you the answer. The strength of the team is going to have to be the team. It's going to be how we play as a team. Again, we lost a lot of talent. We're going to have to be a team that plays together in all three phases, that doesn't beat itself, that's a no-excuse mentality, and it's really good fundamental football team. And I'm not being cute with it. I'm telling you that's going to be our challenge. And we've played with young people in the past, and when you play with a number of them, we've got to be a team.
With Asante, was it just injuries that sidetracked him last year?
Yeah, he got behind. He had the shoulder surgery, whenever that was, last spring or whatever, and he just kind of got behind, and he never looked like he looks right now. He finished number 1, and has confidence. His body looks different now. He atrophied a lot last year during that process, and he just looks a lot different. He's a lot stronger and a lot more confident.
With Dallas Crawford, you've obviously mentioned
Yeah.
the things that you like, why you made the move, but again, you see him at kick return and punt return, and I don't know if he's ever done that, but again, what leads you to believe that he can be an impact player?
Number one, he's a football player. He's a guy who just figures it out. He came to us a little bit out of shape, a little bit overweight, and then he hurt his hamstrings, and he just wasn't in the mix. But he's lost weight. He's lost about 18, 19 pounds, to be honest with you. He's about 189, 190. He's got some of his quickness came back. His personality's back. He's leading in the locker room. Again, he's quick. He's quicker than he is fast. He's got good lateral movement, and he's tough as nails. And he's a competitor. So we're trying to find some spots for him to help us in addition to running back, kick return, punt return, all four running special teams, and then certainly we can deploy him in the slot on offense as well.
Coach, when Buck comes back come August, would you want to shift Kane at that point back to inside to compete with Jimmy Gaines and Paul and Kirby, or might you want to leave him?
Yeah, I don't know. Tyrone Cornelius had a good offseason, but we're pleased right now with Witt, and we're pleased with Eddie Johnson. And we're pleased with the direction that Gianni and Kirby are going. So, again, I would prefer, right at the end of the day, I would prefer that, to have the first team Sam and the second team Sam both play and back up each other rather than do what we did last year. We were constantly moving guys, and you don't get good doing that. So Sean, I think, could handle playing Mike or Will. A year ago, it's very hard for for a lot of these guys to be able to do both. Buck is a guy who I think he can do both, Sam and Will. But no, we'd like to try to develop the type of depth where we go to the team and we have three linebackers. We go to the game, we have three linebackers at Sam, three at Mike, three at Will, and they all play special teams.
Coach, the schedule just came out. Boston College up first. I know you're not into revenge, but
I'm not even into the schedule. I'm just trying to get, to be honest with you, I was just trying to have a good day today, make sure we're doing all the things that we need to do today. And again, we'll worry about that. We knew we were going to play them, from the Atlantic Division, so they're already part of our off-season, regimen in terms of film study and things of that nature. But again, that's,
We talk about the importance of Mike James. Your other running backs haven't played that position much. He has. Just going into next, how important is he?
Yeah, I think Mike's versatile for us, because he's shown that he can do all three realms. I think, again, Mike gave up his December, his late December and all of his January, to get going, and he's responded with 28 reps and finished number one in the off-season program. And that's a big number for a running back. So he's becoming now, he's probably 228, 225, somewhere in that range now. I just probably have him too light here. He's a big back right now. He's having a good off season for us. So he'll be versatile for us. And again, I think Eduardo's going to be a really good player. I really do. I think he just kind of figures it out. Even at the end of last year, he was the guy that we wanted on the field on third down. He was the guy that we wanted on the field in short yardage, and he got it for us. He's a guy that just kind of figures it out. And then clearly we think we have two talented guys coming in, and I'm not adverse to playing young guys. So we're just going to keep feeding positions, George, until it looks the way we need it to look.
Does he have the speed, Mike, that you're looking for in that position?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's not Lamar fast, but I think Lamar showed he's one of the fastest in the world at that position. So.
Coach, with so much uncertainty, what's the biggest goal you hope to get out of this spring?
In terms of uncertainty, you're referring to what?
Because the guy who played most of the time at quarterback, he's not participating. So
yeah.
There's a lot of continuity that's not going to be there. So what do you hope to get out of the spring the most?
Yeah, just that we become a fundamentally sound team. That we're not a team that beats itself, and that we're consistent. The way we approach everything. You start to sense that it's a little bit different already because of the off-season program, and I think that the guys, when we post what everybody's doing in these different realms, I think they're not dumb. They look up there and say, "Wow, that's a significant difference." We had 11 guys that did 225 20 times a year ago. Now we have 31. And I think they get it. I think they understand we're trying to build something that's going to last, and we need to make sure we feel the same way about our practice. Do we know how to practice certain elements? Are we fundamentally sound? Do we we protect the ball? Do we all do all the little things? Do we eliminate, the mental errors? So, again, I know it sounds mundane, but it's probably just, are we going to be a fundamentally sound football team?
But when you brought up those numbers, I remember when you said you had more guys at Temple.
We did.
I mean, most people were shocked when you said that. So do you see a direct translation between the numbers in the weight room and stuff that happens on the field?
No question. I don't think there's any question about it. I field the questions, so I know what the sentiment is. And so when people are saying, "Hey, we're getting pushed around by Kansas State or Boston College or Virginia," we weren't strong enough. So you can make excuses, complain about it, or fix it. Hopefully, we're fixing it.
Coach, kind of off topic, there seems to be a sentiment to move towards a multi-year scholarship or a 4-year scholarship in college football. What are your thoughts on that?
I got so much else on my plate. To me, it's whatever the NCAA says. Right now, they're saying a multi-year scholarship. Whatever the case is, we support. Again, whatever we're doing the best for the student athletes. And again, I would hope we're recruiting kids that want to get an education, that are doing all the right things in the community, that make good decisions, and that decision or that conversation or that meeting is kind of superfluous to everything else that they're doing. At the end of the day, we've got to make sure we're recruiting the right kids and guys who believe in our core values and want to compete. And so, again, at the end of the day, if they want to go that route, that's fine too.
After you lost the 500-classman, I think everybody assumed that Ray would leave as well. But he stayed. Can you just talk about, did you talk to him about that? And were you ever expecting he would leave or his situation?
No, I never expected him to leave. No, how many games did Ray start last year? 1 game, no games maybe, I don't know. So, again, I had the suspension, then had the other suspension, and, it wasn't real productive. I think he would say, he made too many mistakes, and, again, that's all in the past now. So I just think he's left it there. It's one thing to say it's in the past, it's another thing that your actions support that. And right now, I have no reason to not trust or believe in what he's doing. And I expect, based on this offseason, I expect him to have a real productive spring. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if he's not playing a lot faster, if he's not one of our smarter football players out there, that he's not tackling better in the open field. Again, great safeties all do the same 3 things. They defend the deep ball, get their team lined up, and tackle well in the open field. And that's, across the board. If you want a great safety, those are the 3 things you have to do. And I think we all know he gave up too many deep balls. He didn't get us lined up all the time like he needed to, and he missed too many open field tackles. And I think he's addressing that. We're addressing it with him. We're partnered with him. We're trying to get him to be the best player he can be. And I'm real proud of his approach thus far.
I think you mentioned last time that Brandon McGee had told you was stopping track and focus on football. Are you disappointed considering that based on the offseason program he didn't work his way up?
Should be better. Should be better, and there's no excuse. That's it. End of story. Again, he did. He wanted to focus on football and didn't work as hard as some of those other guys in those areas, and that's it. And so now he's got his hands full. He's got his hands full with all those guys. And again, if I was in his shoes, I tried to lock it down before 6 guys show up in August. Personally, I would. So he didn't do that in phase 1. He's got a chance to do that in phase 2.
Coach, last season was a lot about implementing and a lot of getting the new offense and the new defense in. How important is it to have continuity both with the coordinators and with
big? Yeah, it's good. Again, I think I think everybody's excited about what we're doing. It's not going to happen overnight. We realize that, but you can see the potential that this place has, and we're excited about it. It's what gets us motivated and what keeps us going every day. So, again, I don't speak for those guys, but I think they're excited about moving forward. And again, year 2, not that it's easier because our schedule is going to be demanding, but year 2, you should be coaching more football and focusing on the little things rather than focusing on everything. And I think the guys have had a much more mature approach, much more results-oriented approach to the off-season program. That's for sure. You can't deny the results. The results are there. The weights are where they need to be. We're a lot bigger and stronger at defensive tackle, for instance. All those guys are over 300 pounds, and there were times last year we were playing with a 260-pound guy at that spot. We have 4 defensive tackles that bench, over 30 reps, and we didn't have any last year.
All the coaches that maintain the same responsibilities, no shift at all with any of the coaches.
George McDonald is going to assume the role of the passing game coordinator, so he'll have a more active role in the passing game to assist Jed. Jed's certainly going to still call the plays, but George has done a great job, and George brings a lot of experience in that realm, so we wanted to expand his role. Other than that, there's really nothing else to report. We obviously we have an operations position that we can't quite name it publicly yet, and we're looking for a graduate assistant to join us as well.
Any more questions for Coach Golden?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.